I wish I could forget that night, I really do. But sometimes I still hear the sound of the car screeching to a halt, the sickening thud, and then nothing. Just the silence. And her eyes. Those eyes that never blinked, just stared at me like they knew something I didn't. It all started so innocently. I was just trying to get away from the pressures of life. Work had been a grind, and I needed a break. That's when I met her, McKenna. I remember it clearly. It was a Friday evening, the kind of night where the air was just cool enough to make you feel alive, and the lights from the bar cast a soft glow across the street. The hillside bar on Polk Street wasn't anything special, just a quiet little spot with a jukebox in the corner and a crowd that kept to themselves. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, just a drink, maybe a little conversation to take the edge off. But when I walked in, I saw her. She was sitting at the bar, alone, long brown hair cascading down her shoulders, her face illuminated by the soft lighting. She looked different. There was something almost unreal about her. I can't explain it. It wasn't just the way she looked. It was the way she made the entire room feel. Like everything else faded away, and it was just the two of us, connected by some invisible force. I didn't want to stare, but I couldn't look away. And before I even realized it, I was walking toward her. "Hi," I said, trying to sound casual, but my voice was unsteady. "I'm Larry." She turned to me with a smile that made my heart skip a beat. "McKenna," she said, her voice soft, almost hypnotic. We spent the rest of the evening talking, laughing about nothing and everything. It was easy, natural. The kind of connection that doesn't come around often. I couldn't help myself. I offered to buy her a drink, and she accepted, her fingers brushing mine as she took the glass from me. When the bar started to empty out, I asked her if she wanted to grab a bite to eat. She agreed, and before long, we were at my place. The conversation never stopped. And then, somewhere in the middle of it all, I kissed her, and she kissed me back. It felt like a dream. No, better than a dream. It felt like I had finally found what I had been searching for my entire life. We hit it off so perfectly, like we had known each other for years. It wasn't just physical attraction. There was something deeper, something I couldn't put into words. I loved her, and it felt right. 3 days later, I told her I loved her, and she said it back. It was crazy, I know, but I didn't care. It felt real. It felt like destiny. We moved in together. I was happier than I'd ever been. Every night I cooked for her, elaborate meals I knew she'd enjoy, and she'd smile at me, telling me how lucky she was. The days passed, and the more time we spent together, the more I felt at peace. It was like everything in the world had finally fallen into place. But things weren't exactly what they seemed, and I didn't see it at first. There were little things, subtle things, like how she'd sometimes stare at me for too long, like she was studying me, or how she would disappear without a word, only to come back hours later, acting like nothing had happened. I tried to ignore it, push it out of my mind. Maybe I was just paranoid, I thought, but deep down, something felt wrong. And then one night, everything changed. I had stayed late at work again. It was one of those nights where I just couldn't leave the office. By the time I finished up, it was already dark. I was exhausted, ready to just get home and crawl into bed. The streets were empty, and the world felt off. The usual hum of the city was gone, replaced by a strange, oppressive silence. I remember driving home, the headlights cutting through the dark, and then, there she was, McKenna. She was standing in the middle of the road. I slammed my foot on the brake, my heart leaping into my throat. The tires screeched, but it was too late. The impact was unavoidable. I couldn't believe what I had just done. My hands were shaking as I jumped out of the car. The night was still, too still. The only sound was my ragged breathing. I looked down at her. McKenna. My mind couldn't process it. She was lying in the street, her body limp and still. I knelt down beside her, panic flooding my veins. "McKenna!" I yelled, shaking her, but there was no response. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. My hands trembled as I reached for her, but the feeling of her skin, it was cold, like it shouldn't have been. My mind raced. This isn't real. This isn't real, I kept telling myself. And then it hit me. It wasn't just that she was lifeless, it was the way her eyes were wide open, staring blankly at the sky. No warmth, no recognition, just nothing. I froze in fear, and then I heard it, a voice low and chilling, like it was coming from the very air around me. "You shouldn't have come," it whispered. I spun around, my heart racing, but there was nothing there. No one, just the empty street. My breathing was shallow, my chest tight with terror. The voice came again, louder this time. "You shouldn't have come. Now you'll pay." I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was happening, but something deep inside me screamed to run. I turned and bolted for my car, fumbling with the door as I tried to get in. My hands were slick with sweat as I finally got the door shut, my foot slamming on the gas. I didn't look back. I couldn't. I just drove. I wish I could say that was the end of it, but it wasn't. The next day I was arrested. The police said I had killed her, that I had deliberately run her down. I didn't understand. I couldn't understand. The voices, the whispers, it was all too much. They accused me of kidnapping her, of holding her captive. They said she had tried to escape, and when she ran across the street, I hit the gas and killed her. "Mr. Thorne, do you understand why we arrested you that night?" one of the officers asked. I froze. I didn't know how to answer. The words didn't make sense. "Call me Larry," I muttered. "Larry Thorne. You deliberately murdered McKenna Hughes by hitting her with your car. You kidnapped McKenna Hughes from the bar the night you met her. You held her captive, and one night while you were out late, she managed to escape from your house. But when you saw her running across the street, you decided to hit the gas pedal and kill her." The words felt like a punch to the gut. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It didn't make sense. It couldn't be true. But the more they spoke, the more I realized something. I didn't remember anything from that night. I didn't remember running her down or what happened after. My mind was a fog, and I couldn't get rid of the images of her. Her eyes, those lifeless, empty eyes. I don't know what happened that night. I don't know what I did or what was real and what wasn't. But I wish I could go back. I wish I had never met McKenna, never taken that road, never driven that night. Because once you've crossed that line, there's no coming back. And I don't think I will ever be free of what happened, of what I did. I can still hear her whispering, "You shouldn't have come," and I wonder if she'll ever stop.